This is Charles Pereira here. Music lover, a Dax lover, and a lyricist. At one time I wrote some country music, some alternative music with my brother. He had a really awesome band. And I've always been a huge fan of lyrics. I absolutely love them. I mean, I know a lot of people like music, but I love lyrics. And I love the poetry, I love the words, I love the art of putting together verses, putting together a chorus, putting together a bridge. And today I wanted to jump into and do a deep dive in To Be a Man by Dax. Let's get into it. I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Now, growing up without a father, I understand what Dax is talking about. There is a tremendous amount of pressure on a man to provide for his family, to give the family so many different needs, emotionally, physically, just countless needs that a man must provide. And that comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of pressure. Yeah, I know this life can really beat you down, huh? You want to scream, but you won't make a sound. Got so much weight that you've been holding, but you won't show any emotion as a man that goes unspoken. So what men tend to do, we've been raised to be strong. We've been raised to be powerful, but we haven't been raised to be vulnerable. We haven't been raised to get our needs met. And so we keep these things trapped inside of us, and slowly but surely it starts to eat away at us. It starts to make us a less better version of ourselves. That pressure to perform, that pressure just gets trapped and just builds up, boom, blows the lid off. Part of that, honestly, guys, that's our own fault. We were raised and trained to trap our emotions inside. We have to break that cycle and start to express ourselves. Start to let other people know what we need when we're sad. Not be afraid to be a man. Truly, that's what a man needs to be. That's what our kids need to see. That we can't cry when life gets hard. Unconditional love for women, children, and dogs. That's a shot right there. That's a shot. Basically, Dax is saying, hey, I feel like men, they're missing out. Like society is completely overlooking them. They're putting women, children, and even dogs above meeting the needs of men and understanding and loving and having that same compassion. I have seen people have such compassion for animals, and it's beautiful, but they won't have a tenth of that same compassion for a person that's hurting, and especially a man. We know that we just have to play our parts and don't nobody give a damn about our broken hearts. Yeah. As a man, we gotta pave our way. Our only function is to work and slave. There's no respect for you if you ain't paid. You're disregarded as a human being and you can't complain. And if you ever make it up and actually reach that place and find a woman that you love and give her your last name, you feel the things that you provide is only why she stays. And when you try to explain, you'll say, we jump into the chorus. So basically, status. There is no respect for you if you ain't paid. Status and materialism. That is what we tend to rate our men off of. We don't rate men for their emotional support, their empathy. We rank them off of their strengths. But really, man is created in the image of God, and God is extremely loving, extremely gentle. God is extremely forthright with how he feels. But men, we've somehow have learned to bottle up all our energy, bottle it up inside, and it just blows the lid off. Now we jump into the chorus. I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man, what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road. It's a lonely road. And they don't care about what you know, care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide in that home. Now, this is a classic. classic example of the world's way versus God's way. That's how the world treats you. The world is a very lonely place. The world doesn't understand you. The world doesn't care how you feel, but God's way does. God sees you as a complete human being, and he wants all of you, not just part of you. I made that mistake thinking, but what you provide inside that home, right? It's not about how you feel, it's about what you provide in that home. I thought, hey, give the paycheck, everything be cool, everything be good. But you know what? Women need so much more than just a paycheck. They need a complete man. And I'm not there yet. I could be more empathetic, more understanding, and more patient. I have a long ways to go, but I understand what he's trying to say. Don't give up, verse we jump into out of the chorus. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our Father's actions play a role, and we end up like him. So they can't let us see them hurt, because they'll embody what we do and start a generational curse. Wow. We as men pass on so many amazing traits and so many character flaws. And both of these things can often happen without trying. All of us are decent. All of us have goodness within us, but we also are bent by the generation that came before us. We have to be careful of that. That's actually my life purpose. Like, if you look at my life and you go, oh, wow, what a life, boring, little life. Well, my life is big. If I can break these generational curses in my life, then I have won. Then you lay me in the ground, scatter me in Yosemite. I don't care. I have won. I have lived for God and helped my kids find a better way. No wonder most men are depressed. All the things they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on a shelf. Then go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help. So right here's the power of fellowship. This is something I'm learning the older I get, and the power of a fellowship, whether it be a sports group, a weightlifting with your buddies, going to church, small groups, being around other men, but not just being around them, but being vulnerable is so important. To be able to say, yeah, hey man, I hurt. How you doing with this? How's your relationship with your wife? How are your kids? How are you doing with your struggles, with lust? How are you doing with your food addiction? Let's do this. Let's do life together. See, men, when they do life together, they don't keep it on the shelf. They deal with their problems. And then they don't end up being depressed. They don't end up feeling small. See, men feel small because they can't share their full emotion. And that's not the way it's intended. Then they grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down, and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's a circle of life. As a man, you provide. They don't know what you're worth till that day that you die. And that's when you start crying. Then move on to a man to confide in. And that's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. Right? He jumps into the chorus. Numbing, self-medication. We can't do that. That's called avoidance. Avoidance is one of the most dangerous things you can do in life. Do not, at whatever cost, be avoidant with your weight, with your goals, with your finances, with your relationships. Do not be avoidant. They will only get worse. Do not self-medicate. Take those things on. Love this line. They don't know your worth till that day that you die. I think of all the people that have gone in my life. Some of them were good people. Some of them weren't the best. But every one of them is remembered better than they were. Why? Because you look back and can truly appreciate what people have done for you when they're gone. Why do that? Let's just appreciate them while they're here, and then appreciate them while they're gone, and then take the good things that they do and leave the bad. That's the thing. We don't have to pick up all these generational curses. We don't have to pick up all this junk. And that's what I love about what Dax is saying. He said, I'm trying to break this. I'm trying to take this to a new level. And he ends it with a mix-up of the chorus. Just changes a little bit from I to we. He brings everyone together. He brings everybody on board. He says, you're a part of my team. I'm Dax. Come on. It's not about how fast I can rhyme anymore. It's about how I can connect with you. It's about how we can change the world. And I appreciate you for that, Dax. We can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be a man. See, we don't expect you to understand because you're a woman. You're completely different than us, biologically and emotionally. Completely different different creations. And that's what makes it beautiful. You're the other half that I'm missing, and I'm the other half that you're missing. So we don't need to understand, but we do need to empathize. We do need to be curious. It's a lonely road. And if you don't care about what we know, care about what we know, it's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. And then it ends. A lot of pressure being a man. A lot of pressure being Dax. A lot of pressure being an artist. A lot of pressure being a professional. A lot of pressure being employed. A lot of pressure being a son, a father, a mother, a daughter. Life's tough. But thankfully, for those of us that do believe in God, we have a great helper. And for those of us that don't, that love is still there for you. God is waiting to take that pressure off of you. Not give you the world, but help you with this world, help you lift this world. Yeah. Dax, I appreciate that song. I appreciate you being vulnerable, and I appreciate you making a difference for young men and young women in this world. Please, never stop keeping it real. Have a good one.